Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. That's my email address for your pricing questions about this or any Watchbox watch. Email me at tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing the 41.5mm stainless steel Oris Aquis Date Calibre 400 as we continue to work our way through the variants of the Calibre 400 Aquis models. Taking a look at this one, 41.5mm is probably the most discreet with a lovely black-gray gradient dial, 41.5mm steel case that is also in profile, 13.4mm thick and 48.2mm from lug tip to lug tip. Note that the bracelet pulls straight down. There's no flare or fight built in. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. You get a sense of just how it wears. It wears well. I can recommend it for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. It comes nowhere near the edge of my wrist. You can see that well from over the top. And then you can see that it's actually low enough, though it does have a little bit of a bezel cantilever. You should be able to fit this underneath the cuff. It's 13.4. This is an easily wearable watch and a wonderful option for someone who's looking for a $3,500 new Rolex alternative. It's even less pre-owned. This watch is priced right. I should mention that with the Calibre 400, Oris introduces 10-year warranties and 10-year service intervals, so this watch is a lot more than just a 5-day power reserve. Taking a quick look at the hardware and the software, you can see that the bracelet does use a proprietary junction with the lugs. There is a strap available, and new to the Aquis is this system that allows you to pop open a release and remove the bracelet or the strap and quick change it in seconds. Now, a bar is still used to hold it in place, so while it's closed, the clamshell system has the same security as a screw in a bar. It's not as loose or vulnerable as a spring bar, so you get the best of both worlds. It removes quickly and easily without tools, but then it's more secure than a spring bar once it's in place. There's a little bit of a taper to a bracelet right here, which is something you see on upscale watches. I expected this to be straight all the way down. The taper is upscale and unexpected. You can see that it's a wonderfully three-dimensional bracelet that actually has length and width and height to it and a couple of different features in each dimension. Satinated center links, polished shoulder links. You can see the outer faces are satinated, and Oris really not pinching pennies. Removable links fixed by screws. That's something you rarely see on watches in this price range. Heck, you don't even see it on the Patek Philippe Nautilus anymore. Now, you have a twin trigger release system, which is infinitely preferable over the standard clamshell, which is de rigueur at this price point. So you get the twin triggers, that's upscale, a nicely set of machined single swing arms, lots of security, and then you have a pull-out dive extension, so you can fold that out over a dive suit or just a thick winter sweater or coat, and then 3 divots drilled inside so you can use your strap tool to actually change the anchoring point of the bracelet. You'll also note that there are half links on each side, so you do have the ability to micrometrically size using those links. Taking a quick look at the case band, it's non-generic. You can see it has a little bit of a conical profile, wider at the base than at the top, and the lugs are broken out dramatically. There's a longitudinal satin finish and a few polished accents, but this is anything from the blended lug profile you'll find on most Omega and Rolex divers. The crown guards are held on by screws, so if you ever gouge them, they can be individually removed and replaced. The crown features a raised, relieved, and polished Oris logo, a media blasted center. It's a large crown with a deep knurling that's easy to grip. The bezel has a wonderfully mechanical feel. And then it has a ceramic insert, so it's nicely scratch resistant. You line up the luminescent pearl with the minute hand. Now you have a count up 0 to 60 minute timer, a feature I don't expect at this price point, and there are a lot of unexpected features on this watch. You have applique indices rather than traditional low-dollar budget brand printed features. This watch really reads like a much more expensive timepiece. And Oris got the small details right, not printing too much on the dial and making sure that the date disc is the same color as the dial. They even use a custom typeface for the date itself. The watch does have a gradient dial. It's silver gray at its center and nearly black at its edge. Gradient dials are a big deal right now, but you expect to see them on more expensive watches from the likes of Patek and Moser, for example. And you can see it is just a lovely watch in every regard. Quick set date, hacking seconds, very precise. Turn it all over, you get Calibre 400. 2 mainspring barrels, which means unlike a lot of long power reserve watches that have just one big barrel, here with the 2 barrels you have more even torque release, so it doesn't run super fast when it's fully wound, and it doesn't run super slow after 2 or 3 days of discharging. Now you can see it features a micrometric rack and pinion regulator, but it also features Edicron, which means it can be adjusted very precisely, and in fact, Oris attests to the accuracy, claiming no worse than -3 plus 5 seconds per 24 hours with this watch. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, so the 5-day power reserve wasn't achieved at the expense of beat rate. Beat rate can often help to make a watch more accurate in as much as it can shrug off bumps and concussions, because the beat rate is less similar at a high rate than it would be at a low rate to the oscillation rate of the wrist. Now, the watch has 21 joules, 5-position adjustment, and as you can see, this Oris manufacturer movement is large, and it better fills the case back than the prior Sellita SW200s that were used on the Aquis. So this is a very impressive watch in every regard, and again, all of this is 300 meters water resistant, so you do get a lot for your money. It has a silicone escapement that not only improves performance in between servicings, but Oris boasts that this watch can be exposed to 2,250 Gauss and vary by only 10 seconds per 24 hours as a result, which is supremely impressive and very relevant in the modern era of high-powered home and office electronics. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Oris Aquis Date.